She's asleep. Good. No time to wake somebody else up. He's not gonna like this, and I'm sorry I have to do it, but I don't have any other choice.
Hello.
Hi. I need to meet with you and Arnold before court reconvenes this morning.
For God's sake, it's still dark out. What time is it?
It's almost time to get up.
What is this all about?
I can't tell you now, Mason. I'll have to wait till I see you. Call Arnold. This could be the break we're looking for.
Thank you, McCabe. I can't believe how he came through for us.
Well, don't tell anyone that Connor is the one who came up with this information. His career might never be the same.
Ben, you're one cold-blooded man.
Yep. Kind of like you, Connor. We know how and when to move in for the kill.
There's a higher truth here, McCabe. The truth of who Frank Goodman was and what he did to BJ.
Trust me, when this whole thing is over, you and I will both be famous.
How do you even sleep at night?
Joe?
Good morning.
What am I still doing here?
You followed me home last night to make sure I was okay, do you remember? I offered to fix you a cup of coffee, but you were asleep by the time I could bring it to you. I didn't want to bother you.
Why are you up so early?
I couldn't sleep after that earthquake hit.
Earthquake? When did that happen?
Late last night, 5.1, it wasn't too bad.
I must have slept right through it. Smoking again, huh?
Yeah, well, can you blame me? Everything we've been through these past few weeks, I'm surprised I'm not sitting here with a bottle of whiskey and a shot glass.
It's my favorite time of morning. BJ was born at this time in the morning, remember? I'll never forget the feeling I had the first time I saw that precious little face. I'll tell you something, Joe. In spite of Cruz, my love for that little girl's never been stronger than it is right now.
What do you think's gonna happen to her today?
I don't know. But the thought of her...
Could you do a big favor for me?
What?
Hold me. Because if you don't, I feel like I'm gonna come apart.
Warren, I don't want to be here.
I know you don't. But this is our last chance, BJ. Your last day in court is in a few hours. And those lawyers are going to give their pleas today. And then the jury goes and deliberates. And nobody's really going to know what happened that night unless you remember. And that's why I brought you here. Because the last piece of that puzzle's here someplace, and we're going to find it.
I don't see what else I can do.
I'll tell you what you can do. You can remember. And I'm going to help you.
This better be important, Julia.
Oh, we have to wait till Arnold gets here, and I appreciate this, Mason. I'm sorry it's so early.
Well, what the hell? I was going to get up in 3 hours anyway, wasn't I? As a matter of fact, I have to admit, it was lovely being awakened by you, even if it was only by the phone. Next time, I'd like something a little more personal.
I don't want to discourage you, Julia, but early morning wake-up calls do not for a pleasant meeting make.
I'm sorry, Arnold. I didn't know that sharks slept.
I'll take that as a compliment. So what grandstand play are you staging now?
I have new evidence, and I need to call a witness to the stand before our closing statements.
Forget it, lady. You have had your fair share of surprise witnesses.
What are you talking about, Arnold? What about you? What about Warren Lockridge? What about Dolly Foster? By the way, Your Honor, I'm still waiting for that witness petition of Warren Lockridge that Mr. Arnold claims to have sent to my office.
All right, look. I came at Julia with Warren Lockridge and Dolly Foster. She came back at me with Skylar Gates and Eugene. So we're even as far as surprise witnesses go. And that's where I draw the line. Now, defense has put her case to rest, and she'll just have to sleep with it. And that's where I should be right now, sleeping.
This witness is critical to my case, and my client is entitled to all the evidence I can present in her favor.
Sorry. But you'll just have to present one miracle of a closing argument, because this trial is over.
Who are you to say that this is over? It's for the jury to say that this is over when they reach a verdict. Who appointed you the judge anyway, Ben? In the interest of justice, and in all fairness to my client, I'm going to have to insist that this witness be heard.
Then you're going to have to make an offer of proof, Julia, and show me that this witness of yours has new evidence that you could not possibly have discovered before now. Otherwise, I will not waste one more moment of the court's time.
Thank you.
For what?
Saying how much you love BJ. Even after everything that happened in the past, you are the one that raised her, Reese. You helped her with her homework. You held her when she was sick. She's our child. And I'm afraid for her. The only thing I'm feeling in my heart is the pain I'm feeling for BJ. It's been so long since we've been together, and I do want you. I just feel like if we make love now, it'll be to distract ourselves from today.
Joe, if there was ever a time I didn't need an explanation, believe me, it's now.
What if they find her guilty? What if they find her guilty and they take her away from us? I mean, can you imagine our beautiful child in prison? I just don't think she can survive that, Reese. What do you want me to do?
I want to go back to that night. I want to act it out. Everything that you can remember. I'm going to be frank. We'll go very slowly. But we might be able to start something in motion to help you remember.
I know what happened. I shot Frank. I had the gun.
But you don't remember pulling the trigger. You never admitted that. Don't you see, BJ, something else happened here that night, and we've got to find out exactly what it was. We got to find out what the truth is.
I don't know.
BJ, I believe in you. Now, damn it, we're sitting right on the truth. Now, don't give up. We've got to keep digging. It's not real. Take it. All right, let's start with you holding the gun on Frank. Tell me.
Frank had started to come after me. I remember my hands were shaking as I aimed the gun at him. He wanted to kill me. He asked me for the gun.
BJ, I love you with all my heart. Give me the gun and tell me you love me.
Give me the gun, BJ.
I was so terrified. He'd come toward me. I was aiming the gun at him.
Then point it at me, just like you did to him.
That's all I remember.
BJ, concentrate. Stay with me. Concentrate.
I can't.
I know it's cold out here. We'll go back soon. But just try and remember. For me. Now, I want you to walk to me. And I want you to get as close to me as you were to Frank.
Warren, don't do that.
What is it? What happened?
I don't know, Warren, I'm sorry. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm too frightened.
BJ, I'm asking you, please.
No, listen to me. This could be my last day of freedom, the last moments I'll have to spend with you. Can't we just be together?
Are you resigning yourself to that fact? The last few moments we have together? Well, I'm not going to. Because I want to hold on to you forever. But in order to do that, we've got to keep trying. We've got to find out the truth. We've got to hear the gun go off, and we've got to see it. Then we walk back into that courtroom with hope.
I'm just afraid. I wish we could just go away from here and never come back.
Well, that's a little unrealistic, isn't it? Because if we run, we'll never be free. But if we find that truth, and it proves your innocence, then we're free to do anything we want. Now stay here with me for a little while longer, then we'll go back.
Okay.
Hello, is Agent McCabe in? Not yet, huh? No. No message. I'll just try later. Thank you. That is so typical, McCabe. I want to talk to you, and you're never around. Don't want to talk to you, and I can't get rid of you. Hello?
Hi, Kelly. Mason's just given us the go-ahead.
Oh, my God. That is so fantastic. We have to get dressed, but then I'll meet you at the courthouse, okay?
All right, meet me in conference room B.
Okay. And give my big brother a big, fat kiss.
Kelly wants me to kiss you for her.
Better not. It'll be collusion. Also, I might not be able to control myself.
Well, then I'll just thank you for having an open mind. Thank you.
You know, I have just made an enemy for life in Ben Arnold.
Is that really so bad?
No. Not if I continue to be a judge, but if I decide to go back into the arena as a lawyer, eventually I'm going to have to face him.
You're not worried about little Arnold, are you? I mean, I've been against you in a court before, and if you ask me, I think Arnold's the one who should worry.
Still, this had better be good, Julia.
It is.
Julia just sprung another surprise witness on us. I tell you, I've just about had it with this trial. I've beaten back every desperate attempt that she's come up with. As far as I'm concerned, this one shouldn't have been allowed. Tell me Mason Capwell isn't biased. Where did she come up with this witness anyway? Do you know? Geez, you look like you just got in from an all-night drunk.
I haven't touched a drop.
Well, you must have been jilted by some broad who wouldn't even let you change clothes before she threw you out. I'm sorry, I don't have any time for sympathy. I got women troubles of my own. Julia Capwell and her witness. All right, we gotta act fast. Do you have any idea what the defense is up to? Where they could have gotten this witness from?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Are you trying to tell me something, McCabe? You son of a... What in the hell are you thinking? Oh, okay. Kelly Capwell, huh? She finally got to you, didn't she?
Arnold, it was a combination of things.
Don't try and sanctify yourself with that line of non-committal crap, McCabe. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. You are dead meat in this town.
Well, in case you haven't been paying attention, I've been stinking up this town ever since I first arrived. But oh well.
Guess I wasn't planning on sticking around much longer anyway.
Oh, my God, I am going to make it my life's work to ruin you no matter where you go. Your career is over.
Court is about to convene. Terry, what are you doing here?
This is big news, Warren. Stylish Woman magazine hired me to photograph the trial. Look, I hope it doesn't make you too uncomfortable.
Well, I don't like it, but I understand the nature of the beast. Do you know B.J. Walker?
No, I don't. Hello, Terry Holloway.
Hello. You know my brother.
Yes, and look, BJ, I'm awfully sorry about all this. I'll try to be as unobtrusive as possible, okay? See you later.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think we found the witness that we've been looking for. Julia, are you saying what I think you're saying? Yes.
But how?
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Mason Capwell presiding.
Be seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, before we hear closing arguments, I have given the defense permission to call one final witness.
Your Honor, I'd like to state my objection for the record.
So noted, and your objection is overruled, Mr. Arnold. The defense may call its witness.
The defense calls Sally Baldwin.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear that the testimony you are about to give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Will you please state your name for the record?
Sally Baldwin.
Thank you. Sally, where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Florida. I'm currently attending college in Arizona.
How long did you live in Florida?
For the first 17 years of my life.
Sally, while you were living in Florida, did you know a man named Frank Goodman?
Yes, I did.
How did you know him?
He was the group counselor at a summer camp I attended when I was 9 years old.
I'm going to show you evidence marked People's Exhibit 2A. And Sally, can you tell me if you can identify...
That's him.
Let the record show that Sally Baldwin has identified the picture as Frank Goodman. Sally, when was the last time you saw Officer Goodman?
4 years ago.
And had you seen him regularly since you were 9 years old up until 4 years ago?
Yes.
What was the nature of your relationship with him?
Well, I wouldn't call it a relationship.
What would you call it?
I was his victim.
Sally, would you please explain that to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Frank Goodman sexually molested me.
When did this first occur?
When I was 9 years old at summer camp.
And what was the nature of this abuse?
Frank was teaching me swimming,
And he would hold me underwater and touch me in places that I knew that he shouldn't.
Did you resist?
I tried to, but I was too little, and he was too strong. He said that it was just a game, that we weren't doing anything wrong.
Sally, did you tell any of the other counselors or anyone about this?
No, I couldn't. I was too afraid, and well, at the time I felt that somehow that it was my fault.
Why did you think it was your fault?
When I first met Frank, I liked him. And he said that he wanted me for a special friend, and that meant that I should always trust him. I didn't realize what he meant, so when he started molesting me, I felt that I had given him permission.
How long did this go on?
2 weeks, all of camp. I begged my parents not to make me go back the next year, but of course they didn't understand. I mean, they just thought that I was clinging too much to home. They said that it would do me good.
Sally, when you went back to camp the next summer, was Frank there?
Yes.
And did he sexually molest you again?
Yes. Only this time he found other ways for us to be alone. The camp would go on hikes, and he would tell the other counselors that I wasn't feeling well, and that he was taking me back to the main quarters.
Why didn't you tell the other counselors that you felt fine?
Oh, I did, but Frank would just tell them that I was too shy to admit the truth and that I didn't want to cause any trouble.
What did you do then?
Well, on the way back to camp, Frank would take me off the main path, behind the bushes, and he'd force me to do things to him.
And you still didn't tell anyone?
I was too afraid to. And this had been going on for 2 summers now. I didn't think anybody would understand or that they'd think that I wanted it to happen.
Sally, were there any other incidents?
Frank used to sneak into my cabin at night. He said that if I made a sound, that all the other girls would blame me, and that I would never have any friends again. I didn't want that to happen, so I'd agree to sneak outside with them.
I know this is very difficult for you, and we're almost through. After you left camp, did you ever see Frank again?
Several times. He used to wait for me after school to give me a ride home. Only he'd never take me home first.
Where did he take you?
Various places. His apartment, a park, even a motel.
The last time you saw Frank was when you were 15. Can you please describe the circumstances surrounding that?
Well, one day, Frank showed up at my home. I'll never forget walking into my house and seeing him sitting there. He really had my parents snowed. They seemed so happy that he was there.
What did you do?
I went into my room and didn't come out for 3 days.
Thank you, Sally. No more questions.
Do you wish to cross-examine, Mr. Arnold?
Yes, I do.
McCabe. McCabe. Thank you. That was a great thing you did, bringing Sally in. I think it's going to make all the difference in BJ's case. And I know that it couldn't have been... I know that it couldn't have been easy for you. I mean that it probably has cost you.
Why don't you cut the crap? Since when did you give a flying leap about my feelings, and you really expect me to believe that you care what cost I have to pay?
Do you ever remember, as a child, having intercourse with Frank Goodman?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any proof?
Yes.
Warren, don't do that.
I have medical records. When I was 11 years old, I was taken to emergency, bleeding badly. The police listed it as rape, but I couldn't tell them that it was Frank.
Why not?
Because Frank was the police officer that brought me in.
Order.
Why did you continue to keep this secret? Surely once you left the hospital with proof of your abuse, couldn't you at the very least have gone to a school counselor?
No. Frank said that he would kill my parents if I ever told the truth. And he said being a police officer would be easy for him. He'd just say that he caught them in the act of a crime. And with his record, he'd never be questioned. I believed him.
So what's Arnold going to do?
I'm sure he'll let every DA know that I can't be trusted and that I'm not a team player.
Is he going to bring you up on legal charges?
No. It's my moral obligation to find evidence for either side. If it goes for the defense, then it's my constitutional duty to turn it over. It's just that the DA considers this kind of double-cross tantamount to being a double agent.
So do you think he might go public with it and hurt you that way?
Well, let him. He'll end up being the one looking bad. I just think that he can quietly make it very difficult for me to work anywhere again. Just hope that I didn't disappoint you.
What do you mean?
Did I ever tell you about my father? And why I got into law enforcement?
No.
Well, my father came from a very poor family. Projects of Chicago. That's where I was raised. But he owned a hardware store on the South Side. Before that, times were really rough for him. I mean, can you imagine a World War II Congressional Medal of Honor winner? I never got to see it. Because he had to hawk it at some pawn shop in order to feed his family.
That's very sad. But he had a lot of strength and integrity to do something like that. So is your daddy still alive?
No. When I was 6, he was closing the hardware store late one night, and some whacked-out drug addict came in and shot him to death. All for $54.
Oh, my God.
But he was buried with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery. I remember standing on the runway and watching his flag-draped coffin being put on the plane.
And when Cruz left me, and you took me home and you told me that you understood what it was like to be left on a runway, I yelled at you because I didn't believe you could understand the pain I felt. You understand it more than I could possibly imagine. Can you forgive me? Please.
Anyway, from that time, I vowed justice. And I wanted to be an agent, and I wanted to be the best.
And you are.
I don't see it that way.
Oh, come on. Don't give me that, McCabe. You came to this town and everybody was against you. But you've proven yourself to be the best kind of cop there is. Because the truth was more important to you than which side you were on.
Well, I told you I had integrity. But you were too busy blaming me for Cruz to see it.
Okay, okay, I'm sorry. I'll say it again, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. What you're doing for BJ? You're probably helping this innocent young girl from going to prison. Hey, I admire you more than I could possibly say.
Well, I gotta be going.
Where are you going? McCabe?
18 years old, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you ever make a complaint against Frank Goodman to the local police or even to your parents?
No. Like I said, I was too afraid to.
Why did you decide to come forward now?
Well, I've been following this case in the papers, mainly because of Frank's involvement. As horrible as this sounds, when I found out that Frank was dead, I felt relief. And then when Agent McCabe found me, I realized that coming forward, I might not only help BJ, but help myself too, to free me from my past.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense rest?
Yes, Your Honor.
The witness may step down. Thank you. Call for closing arguments. Is the prosecution ready?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Agent McCabe?
Jerry.
What the hell are you doing?
Oh, just getting rid of a few things I don't need. Like this desk, this radio, this office.
What, are you heading back to Sacramento?
Yeah. I don't know how long I'm going to be there, not after today.
Sir, look, you know, we all know what you did, and finding the witness for the defense and all.
You got something to say about that?
No way.
Good. I haven't exactly made that many friends since I've been here.
I can't argue with that. But you know what the bottom line is? Reese and Jody Walker are very special people to us here. And what you did for BJ took a hell of a lot of guts. We really admire you for it.
Thanks, Jerry. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me.
Agent McCabe, why'd you do it?
Well, someone showed me that loyalty to an institution doesn't mean that you give up loyalty to yourself. When I first came here, it was me against everybody, and I was going to beat them all. Until I saw someone else's neuroses about winning at any cost. I don't know, I guess it kind of woke me up.
You're talking about Ben Arnold, aren't you?
Yeah, he once told me that I was a lot like him. That's a scary thought. Considering he's an early candidate for a heart attack. I'm not ready for that. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you something.
Pearls of wisdom, sir?
No. This jar of jelly beans. Under one condition, though.
What's that?
That you always stay true to yourself, above all the rest.
You got a deal.
Jerry, you take care of yourself.
Good luck, Connor. All the best to you.
Yep.
I need to talk to you two. Now. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
I think you may have the answer. The answer to what? I took BJ out to the desert this morning. I wanted to take her to the spot exactly where Frank was killed. I wanted to try to trigger her memory. I wanted to get back to the last moment before Frank died.
Okay, what happened?
I wanted to reenact exactly what took place. It was going fine. Then I did a specific gesture, and she freaked out.
What frightened her?
I went like this. I put my hands under my arms. What does this mean?
It's Frank. I've seen him do that 1,000 times.
We need forensics over here as soon as possible.
Why?
What's it about?
Well, if Frank went like this, he could have gone like this with a gun, couldn't he?
Hi.
Hi, Miss Kaplan. How are you?
Okay.
Is McCabe around?
You just missed him. Maybe for good. Take a look.
He's gone?
Just picked up and took off. I guess because the trial's winding down, he doesn't have much more business here in Santa Barbara.
Thanks.
Whether Frank Goodman molested B.J. Walker or not is not the point here. Officer Goodman will never have the opportunity to refute those charges in a court of law because he was murdered. Even if he did molest B.J. Walker, as the defense would like you to believe, that does not give her the license to kill him. No one has that right. That's what the criminal justice system is all about. Now, you, the jury, will be charged by the court to follow the law. And the law forbids any human being from taking the life of another. Your province today will be to take that law and apply it to the facts in this case as you have seen them presented beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, if you do that, then you have no choice but to convict B.J. Walker of murder in the first degree.
The defense may present its closing argument.
BJ, everything's gonna be all right. You didn't do it.
What?
I figured it all out.
Mr. Lockridge, I've about had it with you. No one gave you permission to use this court as your own private forum.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Sit down and put a sock in it.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the obligation of the defense to prove that B.J. Walker is innocent of first-degree murder. You see, first-degree murder is the deliberate taking of a human life without legal justification, with malice aforethought. If B.J. Walker had indeed killed Frank Goodman, it would have been done in defense of her safety and her integrity. How much abuse does someone have to take? Just because B.J. Walker was molested 100 times in a span of 10 years, why does she have to take it for 101 times? Molesting children was something that Frank Goodman liked to do, which is why we put Sally Baldwin on the stand to show you that B.J. Walker was not the only child that Frank Goodman molested. Clearly, Frank Goodman was a very dangerous man. It's absurd to think that B.J. Walker had planned and calculated these complicated set of events that took place that night in the desert. I mean, how did she know that her parents' two trained officers had not already apprehended Frank? She was terrified of Frank Goodman. And it is absurd to think that she deliberately went out to kill Frank when she went out into the desert unarmed.
Give me the gun. And please, let me hold you one more time. You couldn't pull that trigger in a million years.
The prosecution will tell you that they don't know exactly what happened that night. Yet they expect you, the jury, to guess. Not only that, they expect you to convict B.J. of first-degree murder.
Come on, give me the gun.
Don't you come a step closer. I mean it, Frank.
One thing we do know is that that night on the desert, B.J. Walker was under extreme emotional distress.
Don't make me kill you.
BJ, I love you with all my heart. Give me the gun and tell me you love me. Come on.
No. No.
week on Days of Our Lives, will Marlena escape from the condemned building before it's too late, or will Stella have her final revenge? Then, on another world, the murders of Rick and Lucas have finally been solved, but yet another mystery looms in the distance. Who is stalking Grant and Vicky? This week on NBC Daytime.